Today we're going to be working on Shimano Sora series crankset, and basically what I'm going to do is show you how to remove the crankset from your bike, and then in part two we're going to be working on the bottom bracket and removing the bottom bracket from the bike. So to get started, you're going to want to concentrate on the non-drive side. You can get a special tool that fits right in here into the crankset like this. If you don't have this particular tool, that's okay. You can use a needle nose set of pliers. We just put a little bit of pressure there, and remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. And you can just go ahead and spin that out. You can get fancy and hold it in place and spin your crank arms. And once it's open like that, then we have another set of bolts that we need to deal with. There's bolts located on the top of the crank arm here. It's just a simple 5mm Allen key. So I'm just going to use a little wrench here. Just hold on tight, a couple turns, and it will start to come loose. You flip it over, do the same thing to the other side. Couple of turns, and it will start to come loose like that. And you might want to go back and forth and rotate through them to make sure that you get it all loosened up. Now, the trick to these is that once you've got it like that, there is a retaining clip here in between. And that clip has to be released in order for you to get the crank arm off. And the easiest thing to do is to get a little flathead screwdriver or something like that and kind of pull it out. And you can see that just slides up like that. And once it slides up like that, now you're ready to work the crank arm off. And this could be a little intense, requiring some real wiggling and kind of movement here. Like to grab it from the base and pull from the pedal side, and it will slowly start to release. You can see the space increasing between the crank arm and the bottom bracket. And there it goes, it pops right off. And once that comes off, then this side here should just pull out like that. And there you go. That is how you remove a Shimano Sora series crankset from your bicycle. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to remove a Shimano Hollowtech style bottom bracket. Alright, so in order to remove this bottom bracket, what we need to do is take the tool, put it on the front here. But the thing is that it requires a massive amount of force to get the bottom bracket to break loose. Written on the bottom bracket itself is like 47 Newton meters, which is quite a bit. So one of the issues is, as you get this tool on here and then using this to try to break it open, as I turn like this, the bottom bracket tool will have a tendency to want to slip off. And I don't want that to happen. It destroys the bottom bracket. It can damage your frame as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece of wood and a C-clamp to help me keep this tool in place. So I'm going to slip the wood on the other side of the frame here. Then open up the C-clamp. Put the tool on here like this, and then set the C-clamp over there, and then it doesn't take much, just a small little twist. And what that'll do is, as I put force down on this, that will keep the bottom bracket tool from slipping off of the bottom bracket as I apply force. So worthy of note, if you're confused about the direction and you're replacing your bottom bracket, you can look at the new bottom bracket. It'll have markings on it showing you which way to tighten it. The bottom bracket itself that's installed should have markings here on the edge showing you which way to tighten it, and we're loosening it, so we're going to do the opposite of that. But an easy way to remember it is that with a bike sitting up like this, you are going to turn towards the front of the bike. So you're going to turn in the direction of the front wheel, and it requires a ton of force. So I'm actually going to step on it. This bottom bracket was factory installed, which means it's going to require quite a bit of force to get it to go. So I'm just going to stand on it, and wow, that was easier than anticipated. Now, all you got to do is break the initial hold here, and then once that's broken, you can take your C-clamp off and get this out of the way. Being careful not to hit your frame, and you can just work the bottom bracket out like that. Okay, so I've just flipped the bike around, and we're going to repeat that process to take the drive side off. And again, not too complicated, and we don't want to tighten that too much because we need room for the bottom bracket to release when it comes off. So if you tighten your C-clamp too much, then that won't happen. We put our wrench in there, and you'll notice the front of the bike now is this direction, and if I leave it the wrench like it was before, it'll want to go in the wrong way. So you have to reverse. You have to reverse that. Just put a lot of pressure there, and it'll come out. And that's how you remove bottom bracket, Hollowtech, Shimano Hollowtech bottom bracket. And now we're going to show you how to put the new one in. All right, now to install the bottom bracket, we have the drive side here, and I want to show you on the new bottom bracket, you have some markings here that indicate size, and this is specifically for road. It has an RI on it showing me that this is for the right side. And then this is what I was talking about earlier. There's a marking here for the direction I need to turn in order to tighten it. You also can see here on the threads that there's already a thread lock in place, which means that I don't need to put an extra thread lock on there. But what is a good idea is to clean out the bottom bracket shell of the bike before you get going on the install. So you can just get a rag and wipe the inside of the shell out. And this bottom bracket is brand new. It's got all this extra grease in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of that grease, and I'm going to apply just a hair of it here to the initial portion of the threads. And that will ensure a smooth start up until the point where the Loctite is. This just goes right in there. You turn it towards the rear wheel or in the direction of the arrow. And as the thread, the Loctite on the threads makes contact, it will get harder to twist. That would be a good time to put your tool on. Get a little more torque here with this. And then when you got it sitting up in there, we're going to put the wrench back on here just to get it nice and tight and snug. Get a few more turns out of it. Just take it nice and easy, and that's how you get that back in there, and we'll do the same thing for the other side. Okay, now we have the non-drive side. I'm going to repeat the same process here. Take a little bit of the grease from the inside here, Put it on the threads. That will ensure a smooth start. Make sure that you have taken the time to clean out the threading here on the inside. And just follow the arrow on the outside of the cup here, which shows that I need to turn it towards the back of the bike. Hand tight up until the point the thread lock engages, and then you can switch to your tool, and that should help out. Kind of getting things in there, and you'll notice this side might be a little tighter than the other side, and the reason that is that there's the plastic kind of shield that goes between the two bottom bracket cups that keeps the water from your frame out from the bearings there, and so as that's engaged, it could be a little bit tighter. You just twist until it sits against the frame, and remember, turn that, and then we're just going to give this a few more clicks. And the force required to sit that tight is pretty high, so don't be afraid to really crank down on it and get it to sit in there. And once you get it in there like that, you're ready to reinstall your crankset. And that is how you remove and then install a new bottom bracket, the Shimano Hollowtech style bottom bracket on your road bike.